What's going on, everyone? It's Chris from 416 Coffee, and I'm here with Robyn from Fika Wear for episode 8 of the Beans and Business podcast. So, Robyn, thanks so much for taking the time to do this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, first thing I think everyone wants to know is what does Fika Wear? What does Fika Wear mean? Where did that come from? How'd that happen?
Okay, so I was kind of just searching. Funny story, actually. Fika Wear wasn't Fika Wear when it first started. It was called For the People, which had its own whole meaning, but then I realized that there's a lot of other businesses that use that term, so that wasn't going to work. So then I kind of was searching on Pinterest and stuff for a word that had a cool meaning because I knew I wanted to do comfy clothes and sweats mostly. So I wanted a word that kind of wasn't common or like really known by a lot of people. So I was searching through that and I found fika, which is actually a Swedish term that kind of means to have a coffee break and to hang out with your friends, slow down and like appreciate the moment. And so I thought that would be perfect to do Fika Wear because it's kind of the clothes that you're going to wear while you're having like a chill moment with your friends, hanging out, enjoying a coffee or a glass of wine.
That's awesome. Okay, no, I really like that. That's awesome. So when did you start and how did it start? Like what made you want to make this? So I guess first let's start with, for everyone that doesn't know, like what exactly do you do?
So Fika Wear is a comfy clothing brand. Right now I make 90% of our clothes. I design all of the designs and then I put them on myself, but we are trying to expand into just comfy clothes in general, and we are unisex and size inclusive, so kind of trying to stay within that also.
Okay, amazing. So how did it start? When did it start? How long have you been at this for?
So it hasn't been a year yet. I started in the fall, and I kind of happened by accident. I had gotten laid off by my full-time marketing job in the spring when COVID hit, and I had thought that I was going back to that job in the fall. So for the summer, I was kind of just chilling, and I was like, you know what? One thing I've always wanted to learn is graphic design, and I think that would help with me doing marketing. So I kind of started teaching myself that during COVID, and then at the end of the summer when I thought I would be going back to my job, turns out it wasn't anymore. So then I was like, okay, what can I do with graphic design that's not just design work? So for fun, as a hobby, I started putting some of my designs onto shirts, and I was just kind of giving them to friends and stuff, and then I started an Etsy shop just to kind of see if anyone would be interested. And one of the design things that I did was lake related because I'm actually from a small town up north, so there's a lot of lakes, but it's very it's not popular. They're unknown lakes. So I thought a lot of people up there would probably want to have merch with their own lakes on it. So I made the customizable lake pieces, which I hadn't seen anybody else doing, where right in the website you can customize what the wording is, but the design's pre-made.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started with that on Etsy, and it kind of just took off right away. Within like the first month, I had way more sales than I ever expected. And that's kind of when I decided to go into it full time.
That's awesome. So you kind of found your niche as for a gateway into the market kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like it's definitely something that I never would have thought to do if I wasn't from a small town that had no clothing that had their stuff on it. So
that's awesome. So how have you worked on expanding from that initial idea? Because obviously here we have a collab piece coming out, and then like how did you branch out from the lakes?
Yeah, so I am really into fashion, so I was trying to come up with comfy clothes that were kind of more like sleek designs on them that you would want to wear if you were still in the city running around doing errands and stuff. So I started going into that. But in terms of my business expanding, I've done 2 accelerator programs so far this year. So one was through the Ryerson Innovation Hub, and then another one that I'm still in right now is through Shopify. And so I think those have helped me a lot because you get to speak with different mentors. So it kind of helps guide you in ways that I wouldn't have thought to do myself. But I also think just social media has helped me a lot, and word of mouth. I try to do really good customer service, so then if somebody buys, then their friends all buy, which kind of helps grow quickly.
So you said mentors like gave you a big kind of one-up. Is there like a piece of advice or like a limiting belief that they broke down for you that really changed the game? Is there one thing you can think of, or?
Yeah, so I think the big thing would be that everyone, like not everyone, but a lot of entrepreneurs are really nervous and they want to keep their ideas to themselves. And the big thing that I've learned from speaking with a bunch of mentors is like talk to everybody about any idea that you have, because just like having people as a soundboard really helps to get the idea stronger before you do it. And also just kind of helps with your confidence, because certain ideas that maybe I would have thought were not worth trying at all, people will like just add a few pieces of advice to, and then it becomes one of my best products or something like that. So just talking about it and not being embarrassed to kind of just put your thoughts out there.
100%. Yeah, I think having an idea in your head and kind of letting that become bigger than what it is can be dangerous, because then you have this idea that you're like, oh, I can't tell anyone, it's the best idea ever. And then you didn't see maybe a very obvious pitfall, or that the execution of an idea like that was going to be ridiculously hard and whatever. Because I think like as an entrepreneur, all the kind of success comes from the actual execution, right? Ideas are cheap. Like there's a bunch of good ideas I'm sure if we jammed we could come up with right now, but it's all about the actual execution. So that's amazing. So what do you have any long-term plans for this? What's the like is this is what you do full time, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so what do you have long-term plans, ambitions? What's the end game?
Yeah, so eventually kind of what I'm working to this year actually is towards carrying more clothes beyond just my own line, so that I kind of want to just become a huge marketplace online for comfy clothes, kind of like a Roots, if you will, but with more customizable options and more geared towards small towns also. And yeah, just kind of expanding the products that I offer within fashion, and kind of maybe going into more of a marketplace style eventually with other small local vendors as well.
That's awesome. Have you ever heard of Reigning Champ?
No.
So Reigning Champ, my buddy James, shout out to James. He works for Nike, but he had told me about Reigning Champ. It's pretty much a streetwear line that's all made in Canada, and Aritzia just acquired 60% of it.
Oh, wow.
It's a massive company. And yeah, so it's like maybe something like that. I mean, I found it interesting because they make just really high quality essentials, which is similar to what you're talking about, where the quality is really high. It's all made in Canada, and it has like kind of the story, and they do like streetwear really well. And they've done a lot of fun collabs, like similar to what you did, because I think they did like an Everlast collab and like stuff like that. So
I'll have to check them out.
yeah, definitely check it out. Do you have a dream collab?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. No, I don't know off the top of my head. I'm still thinking pretty local right now, so I haven't really gone that far.
No, that's fair enough. So you're exclusively online right now?
Yeah, so I just started selling at some markets as a way to be in person, and I would like to start being in a couple shops, like kind of what we're doing with our collab coming up, where I have a few pieces in other shops. But for now, yeah, just online.
Okay, sweet. And you're running that back end for like entrepreneurs watching Shopify, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
Big fan of Shopify.
Shopify's killer, yeah. Do you have any, like, what's your best, do you have a plugin that you like to use? Do you have?
I have a lot of plugins, so I can't really think of one off the top of my head. But in terms of Shopify, I would just say for entrepreneurs, like the Shopify for Startups program that I'm in,
it's killer.
Is really good. Yeah, definitely look into it.
That's awesome. Do you have a killer abandoned cart email? Do you have one?
I do have one, but it's not killer. I think I need to work on that.
Yeah, you know what? So I made one, and I tailored the language to ask people if they were mad. Like if they were okay, if everything was all right, were they upset? And actually the response rate is hilarious. Like, so I've had people email me back and be like, yeah, no, like everything's fine. Like I just I actually just bought some from the store. Like I was gonna order online, but my wife said we were going there. So like, and it's so funny. So people like really, I feel like things like that go a long way.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It kind of makes people feel like they need to answer too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So have you had, I know obviously you're only a year in or just about, have you had like a massive setback or like a huge screw up that you can remember?
I had one issue with copyright, which was not fun.
No way.
Yeah, so when I was first getting started, didn't think about copyright at all with the sayings that I was putting on my shirt. And I did a custom, actually. It wasn't even on my website. And a company that's their trademark term saw it.
What was it?
I don't know if I should say because they really weren't happy.
Okay, fair enough. We could leave it out.
But Yeah, and they sent me like some very aggressive DMs that I was like, whoa.
Oh, they DM'd you?
Yeah, they DM'd me. They didn't go through like a legal team.
Oh, so they didn't send you like a cease and desist or anything
No,
like that? Okay.
they like DM'd me really hardcore. And I explained to them like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It wasn't even something I sold on my site. It was a custom request that I just posted on my stories to show people.
Was it a local brand?
No, it wasn't local, but it is Ontario.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm like so curious.
So now I'm like, yeah, I'll tell you after. So now I'm like very terrified about copyright because I'm somebody who's very affected by people like directly talking to me about something. So I was like traumatized. I didn't want to do customs for a long time after that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you find that's a challenge? Like, do you struggle with conflict in general, or how do you feel about like competition?
Yeah, I'm okay with competition. I'm very collaborative. I like doing things with other businesses, even if they're technically my competition. I think it's fun to collab on everything, but I do struggle with confrontation. If people, especially through DMs, people that I don't know,
Yeah, 100%.
send me messages that are kind of angry and aggressive, I really get in my feels about it.
That's fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, it's there is some interesting competition, like even between local businesses. I was on here, like, have you heard about like there's like so much cookie beef?
Oh no, I haven't heard that.
There's cookie beef. Like I was talking to people in the cookie industry around here, and like
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, there's legit cookie
Really?
beef. Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, like I don't even have beef with other coffee people. Like
Oh
we don't talk to each other. It's fine.
Yeah.
If anything, actually, we usually promote each other. Like the amount of people that go to like another local spot and the barista there is like, oh, if you're in this area, like check out 416, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, thanks. And then you return the favor. Like people are like, what else is good coffee around here? So yeah, no, I'm definitely subscribed to, like I'm definitely ultra competitive and I want to win, but I'm not gonna win by like talking shit about somebody. I just want to beat them on
Yeah.
like the merit of doing something better, not on the merit of
Yeah.
I'm like slandering them or writing fake Google reviews or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And something I feel like that really stresses me out on that note is that some small businesses are very open about going on their stories and just like sounding off about their competition or people that they think are like stealing their stuff.
Yeah.
And so I feel like those brands, I'm like terrified I won't follow them. I won't go near them because I'm like, I don't want to be the person on the receiving end.
No, yeah. And like, those are also people that you probably don't want to collaborate with,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
because that's, no one wants that shit.
No, way too stressful.
So do you want this to be like your full-time thing in perpetuity? Like, that's the game plan right now? Like, you're an entrepreneur now. That's it. Marketing life is over.
Yeah, I kind of still go back and forth. I think I have a little bit of self-doubt or imposter syndrome, I guess, where I kind of struggle. Like some days I'm like, yeah, I'm killing it. This is definitely where I'm going. And then other days I'm like, probably time to get a real job where I don't feel like this is like an actual job because it's fun.
Yeah.
So I think, like, yeah, as long as things go well, yes, but I do still like to keep up on marketing. I do a little side hustle with marketing still, so I definitely like to keep that as a backfall.
Fair enough. And you went to Brock as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. When did you graduate from Brock?
2018, I think just behind you.
Okay, yeah, I graduated in 17, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, and BBA or BCom or?
BBA.
Nice. And did you concentrate in marketing?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, same.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Apparently concentrating in marketing makes entrepreneurs.
Yeah, there we go. We probably had some of the same classes.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember any of your profs?
Yes.
Who was the worst? It was Tanzu Barker, I know.
No, it wasn't. I don't know if I want to say.
Do you think they're going to watch this?
I don't know. You have a big following, maybe.
I just threw out Tanzu Barker's name. So Tanzu, if you're watching this, you were a tremendous teacher, but you were also a complete savage. Like, so I'll tell you a story. This was insanity. We were in a marketing class, and he wanted every class to be run like a business meeting. So I'm like, okay. So he liked me because I contributed, and I was actually into it. It was business to business marketing, and it was good for me. So, but there was this poor girl at the back was chewing gum. Tanzu walks up, kind of looks around, looks at her, sees that she's chewing gum, is like, walks over, sticks out his hand.
No.
I swear to God.
Oh, God.
She spits this gum directly into his hand.
Did she just leave afterwards? I would.
Oh, no, she didn't. He throws it in the garbage, leaves.
Oh my
Done.
God.
Class is over. Class was 3 minutes long. Done.
He left.
He's gone. Bro, it's over. Game over.
God.
He just done. Finished. Spits it in her hand, throws it in the garbage. Fuck you guys. I'm out. Literally says to us the next, as he's leaving, sends to us, I will have my pound of flesh on the final. I swear to God. Throws a Merchant of Venice line, leaves.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Did
Yeah.
that girl go back to class? Did she drop it?
That poor girl got ripped apart all the time. Honestly, in fairness, she didn't do much, but she another time, he already knew. Another time, same thing. Walks in, is like, okay, so who read today's readings, whatever. Okay, Tanzu. Tell me what's the most important part. And, everyone raises their hand. A bunch of us keeners, we raise our hand, whatever. And of course, who does he pick? This poor girl at the back. He's like, tell me what's the most important part. And she's like, I didn't have time to read it. Once again, leaves.
Oh, no.
Class is over. 3 minutes long. Leaves.
Oh my God.
Twice. It was ridiculous.
That's kind of traumatizing.
It was scary. But yeah. That's awesome though. Anyway, so that was a good segue. So what kind of kid were you? Were you always entrepreneurial? Did you have lemonade stands and shit?
No, I didn't. I was kind of shy. Well, I don't know. It depends who you ask, I guess. I'm kind of one of those people that was shy around people I don't know. But if I was with my friends, I was the loudest person in the room.
I feel that, yeah.
Yeah. But I was not entrepreneurial, but I was very studious. I always knew I was going to go to university. Didn't know I was going to study business, but I definitely never wanted to have my own business. Even throughout university studying business, I never wanted my own business. This kind of just happened by mistake, and then once I started, I was like, I don't know if I could work for somebody else again.
That's awesome, though. No, I think a lot of people fall into entrepreneurship, and it ends up being something they really enjoy.
Yeah.
So, no, that's good. Do you have any advice for anyone that's watching this that's thinking, hey, I want to start my own business, clothing brand, whatever? Do you have any guiding principles or things that help you make decisions?
Things that help me make decisions, that's hard. I guess guiding principles would just be that everything is figure outable. I feel like there's so many things that everything. I didn't know how to do anything that I do for my business, even though I studied business, and I didn't know how to make shirts. I didn't know how to source shirts. And there's so many little things that you just have to go for it, and you just have to do it, and you'll figure it out as you're doing it, and Google and YouTube are your best friend. But I think if you just fret about trying to figure it all out and wait till it's perfect, then you'll never do it.
No, I think that's so true. You have so many resources between YouTube, between different accelerator programs, whatever. You can figure out absolutely anything. So, no, I think that's a good piece of advice to anyone watching. Do you have any advice you'd give your younger self? I like to ask people that, and it's interesting because we're about the same age, so I'm interested.
Okay, yeah, but it's something that I'm still working on telling my current self too.
What's that?
And it's that life is not a race. You don't have to do something by a certain age, which I feel like, I don't know for guys as much, but for girls, it's very in your head. You want to have your career by this age, have kids by this age.
Yeah.
And that just makes you so anxious trying to live up to that. And you just need to take it as it is. And kind of just take switches in your life path that come at you. I never would have thought I would own a business. I never thought at almost 26 that I'd still just be starting a business if I had one, but just going for it and not stressing about where it's going to take you.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. And I think there's societal pressure on both kind of genders in that sense for accomplishment, for achievement by certain ages, by life steps, definitely even right now, there's a lot of people around our age getting married and whatnot. And it's just, it's different, right? Especially depending on your goals, depending on what you're doing. So at the end of the day, you don't have to live anyone else's life though. So
yeah,
it's on you. I had a great follow-up question and I just completely blanked on it. Totally blanked. It was a good follow-up question though.
I guess I have one more thing I can add to that.
Throw it in there, yeah.
One other thing, kind of on that note, is just trying not to compare either to where you thought you would be, but also to other people that you used to be in school with or something. I follow a lot of people on Instagram that I was in school with, that I was in their groups, and we were pretty on par academically, and they have really successful corporate jobs. And sometimes I struggle with that, but it's like there's just different routes that you can take to get.
Oh, 100%. And we're still so young, right? Like we still have so much time to kind of see where everything's going to land.
Yeah, for sure.
What I wanted to ask you was like, what's your motivation for entrepreneurship? Is it money? Is it freedom? Is it self-expression? What's your motivation for doing it?
I would say my main thing is freedom. I love to travel, so I would love to ultimately have a job where I can just go wherever I want to go for how long I want to do it. And also, I was mentioning to you earlier, like my hometown's really far away from here, so it's kind of nice to be able to say I'm taking a week to go home and I can still work from home. Home being my hometown. Mm-hmm. And if I was working a corporate job like I was before, then like taking a week's vacation is half your vacation for the whole year.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then you got, holidays like Christmas or something. You want to take some time or whatever. Yeah.
So travel's kind of out of the question if you're, well, not out of the question, but you can't travel a lot if you're doing a corporate job. And I think the other thing is just creativity. Like I kind of struggled working under some of my bosses just because I don't do well with people telling me to do things freely and then afterwards telling me, but by that I meant do it this way and this way and this way and this way.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just shut down creatively. So I feel like working for myself is nice that I can kind of just experiment with a lot of things and figure out how I want it to be. And I think that's something I would have troubles going back to if I stopped being an entrepreneur.
Okay, so you were talking about customer service being important to you. Do you have any like great customer service stories where like you were able to like make someone's day, or other way, someone was like completely pissed? Not the copyright thing.
Yeah, I've had a few people where their parcels kind of seem to go missing in the mail, which obviously nobody's happy about that.
Who do you ship with?
I ship with Canada Post.
Yeah, that's fucking a problem.
Yeah, it is.
They're garbage.
Do you have any suggestions?
UPS. Yeah. Get a UPS account. I swear to God, Canada Post is literally the worst thing ever.
I'm also scared of the people that work at Canada Post.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're so aggressive.
Are they? I haven't dealt with them in so long. We got a commercial UPS account, and I was like, fuck these guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm always like inconveniencing them when I drop things off.
Oh, I like Shoppers or whatever?
No, okay, so the ones in drugstores, this is my theory, they're nicer.
Okay.
But the people at the actual Canada Post spots, they scare me.
They're garbage. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, what was the question again?
So, just good or bad customer service stories. Sorry, and then I cut you off.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so I think just making sure that you're available for customer service is a big thing. Like a lot of people that I've give speedy responses to are like, wow, I'm so surprised. Usually if this happens, I don't hear back for like a month. So being just there to help your people out and being accommodating, like obviously I don't want to be sending things out that are getting lost and have to replace them, but if it is, it's not on the customer, it's on me. So I just make sure I send them something quickly, or if they ever have anything wrong with their shirts, I give them a store credit. Just little things that kind of mean a lot more to them, but don't really cost me much to do.
Yeah, no, I think that's huge. I agree with that. Yeah, we've done small things that go a long way here too, and like it's simple stuff. It's throwing like a cookie in their delivery box, whatever. It's stuff like that. Yeah. And just like, I mean, the nice thing is like I always reserve the power and give my staff the power to refund someone. Mm-hmm. It's like, guys, if they're not happy with a latte for whatever reason and they're really upset, like just give them their money back and like make them something else if you can. Like just solve the problem. And it's giving everyone the autonomy to do that because, yeah, I mean, customer service goes a long way. And I think sometimes when someone has a poor experience at first, but then you correct it really well, like that's the kind of shit they're going to tell people about.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of my like happiest customers were people that were like difficult or angry at the start about something, and then you turn them around, and then those are the ones who go around and tell everybody about your business and how good you are.
No, exactly. So, how has being an entrepreneur affected your relationships, if at all? And I mean, I don't mean like romantic, unless you want to get into that, but your friendships, your family, whatever.
I think, it hasn't really affected my relationships that much But I definitely did feel at the start like if certain people weren't supporting or buying from my business, I was kind of hurt. And then you kind of just come to the point where you have to realize that not everyone can afford to be buying things all the time. And I think in terms of my romantic relationship, one thing that I learned is that we actually started the business together.
Okay.
And now it's just me, so you can see
Understood.
how that
Yeah,
went.
yeah.
We're still together, but it's really hard to start a business with somebody that you also live with and are dating. And I think that that's something that's kind of like romanticized on social media, is like the couple that does their business together.
No.
And it's really hard, especially during COVID when you only see each other.
And then all you talk about is the business. And then it's like you don't do anything else. You're just fucking working all the time together.
It's not good. And especially if you have like different work styles, then you're constantly like angry at somebody else. And it's just not a good situation to put yourself in.
No, and that's funny you say this because I completely agree. Like, I think as far as like a relationship goes, definitely if you're an entrepreneur, I mean, I'm sure there's examples where two people start a business together and it's awesome. Yep. But I'd say for the most part, it's like very hard to work on like an entrepreneurial project or even just work with your partner. Mm-hmm. It's tough. Like, I don't know. I like to have like, you know, separation to a certain extent from my personal and business life. I mean, it's so hard to separate it because, as you know, like you're the face of your brand too. It's like it is you. Yeah. But yeah, to work with somebody like 24/7 like that is challenging. So
it definitely is.
But I'm glad you guys were able to keep your relationship going instead of, because like that, I've heard horror stories of like people having a business together and then like the relationship dies. Sometimes the business dies too, just because it is so hard. Yeah,
it is. And I think like it might be different if it wasn't started during COVID, but that just like amplified it 10 times more. So yeah, it was too hard and it wasn't worth it.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you've probably felt like you guys didn't have your own lives to a certain extent, right? You guys were like just all the time, right?
Yeah, it's true. It got to the point it was like we would go to the mail to deliver our parcels together, and we're like, okay, we literally don't take 5 minutes apart. This is too much. No,
exactly. No, that's good that you guys had that conversation though, and it worked out. So yeah, so everyone watching, like, the couple entrepreneurs, I like I said, there's definitely examples of it working, but I'd say they're the vast minority.
I agree with that.
So anyways, okay, so let's wrap it up. I feel like we went for a good length. That was a good little segue. Yep. Maybe like closing thoughts and tell people where they can find you, what they can order, what they can expect.
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. First of all, this is my first podcast.
You did great. I know you were super worried about it, but you did great.
Well, thank you. Everyone, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. It's @shop Fika Wear, and Fika Wear is FIKAWEAR. And we are just kind of getting started on TikTok, which is just Fika Wear, I believe.
Nice.
And we have our website, which is fikawear.ca, and that's where you can order. And
you do Canada-wide shipping?
Yeah, Canada-wide shipping, free delivery in Niagara.
Sweet.
And free shipping in Canada over $75.
Okay, awesome. And first thing someone should buy from you, like right now?
Be a Nice Human hoodie or t-shirt.
Boom. There you go. Well, thank you so much, Robyn.
Yeah, thank you.